Hey harmonizers, welcome to this video with Elysia. I'm going to show you guys some of the Liberty stuff that we've been working on because we're getting ready to go to the Horse World Expo, but also share with you something that's really scary and that's been having me in a bunch of tears and just generally really upset because Elysia has gotten really sick, and I'll show you guys more about that later on in the video. First off, I'm going to show you how we've been playing at Liberty, and I was working on getting her skills up to par for going to the Horse World Expo to do some demos there because I'm not cleared to ride yet, but I am allowed to work at Liberty or do the groundwork, especially working with Elysia, who's one of my best trained horses that has tons of experience. She's just a great horse to have fun with and a horse that I really know and that I can trust. Even though she can have some spunky moments, I at least understand her a lot and she understands me. So she's a great one for me to get back at it with. And so we've been experimenting with some different things because most of the stuff that we've done together is a lot of bridleless riding in our demos in the past. We've done a little bit of Liberty or tricks here and there in demos, but mostly been bridleless riding because she's well known for doing the big blue tarp routine. And in California, we had fun doing the dragon theme. So for the Horse World Expo, I thought it'd be fun to do something completely different because I'm not cleared to ride since my accident in the fall, but we could do some Liberty and groundwork. So we've just been playing with a whole bunch of different things. So here you're getting to see a little bit of the magic happening and just working on getting our rhythm and our feel. Here getting some cute little movements. And I wanted to show you guys there, for example, she offered that tiny little half pirouette step and it was super cute. And so I tend to reward things when she offers me new things, even if it's a little bit hard for her. I tend to reward those things with her. And for those small little canter circles, that's just me working on building up that draw really good. And you're getting to see her do a lot of her cute little moves and a lot of this stuff. You know, I've taught her it over the years, but it's just not something that we had been really working on frequently. So it was kind of new for her to really start doing that. That was me trying to put our rear cue together with our pedestal cue, and then working on doing a little pedestal pivot and getting her to understand what that means, because most of the time when she is asked to go on the pedestal, she just puts all 4 feet on it. So this is totally new and different, asking her to pivot on it. Something that I've probably asked her to do in the past, just not something that we had been working on. And usually whenever I'm putting together some type of a demo or a routine, I want to at least practice the movements enough that the horse understands what they're being asked to do and try to practice it at least a couple times so that way me and the horse both feel comfortable with the flow of how everything's going, because certain things, depending on the horse, go well together and some things don't. You can see that's little Lona watching, my little corgi Lona. She's literally just sitting in front of the jump like, this is my spot to hang out. And it was kind of funny because here I'm asking Elysia to do a trot figure 8 and she just trots right around Lona. Like Lona just becomes part of the jump that she has to do her figure 8 around. And I love how my dog is just like, well, I'm fine standing here. And she kind of stood up, but she's like, yeah, I'll just stay here in this spot. So eventually I get her to move because I wanted to start jumping a little bit. You can see Lona just goes to beside there. It's kind of funny having my dog with me and my horse at the same time. And then here I wanted to work on doing a couple little jumps closer together. So I put her on a rope. So we were doing a bunch of Liberty stuff. And then sometimes when I'm doing the harder things and I want to try to help make it easier for her to understand what I'm asking her to do, I just, I'll put her on a rope if I want to. And then that way we can just make sure we stay happy and understanding each other. Can come in really handy. So she gets some little rewards for that. And then here just showing you guys a little bit of her figure 8 work, doing a little bit more of that. And I'm just kind of playing around with options of, what do I want to do at the expo? I'm going to be having some fun at the expo, doing some educational topics and things, which are great. And as I'm recovering from my injury as well, horse stuff is things that I remember pretty well, and I'm happy to talk about my horse stuff. So talking for an hour about horse stuff is going to be pretty fun to do, just getting to do that once a day. And then also being part of their little demos with equitainment and theater equus. So that's what we're kind of figuring out. And this is part of the Liberty. So most of the time she does really, really well. And you're going to see a little clip here in a second where she also sometimes gets her own mind and wanders off to do other things. And as part of those demos that we do, it's like I want to have some visuals, like whether like we're famous for our big blue tarp, but maybe the side pass with the noodles, maybe having some type of cute cone that could match my theme. Here I'm just using a pylon and a barrel, but I could decorate those or have two pylons that match and decorate them somehow. So you have like a visual, but also something that you do something with. So I try to have props that are meaningful and match the theme of the routine. And we're just playing around with different ideas of what would we like to do in that demo. And I'm rewarding her for staying with me, rewarding her for trying. And she's been doing great. Like she had been seeming healthy, no issues at all. And even like recently, up until recently, like we've been working not every day. I would say like maybe every other day or sometimes every couple days. Just kind of depends on what's going on with with life in general. But you can see she's got some cute moves there. Here's a little canter. Look at her little tiny canter circle. She's getting a lot of little lift in that canter circle and doing super awesome with her Liberty. And was feeling really well, eating the cookies, all of those little pieces. And so I'll show you a little clip here of her where she decides to have her own little energy spiel before we get into what's ended up happening with her health, which has been super scary and pretty overwhelming all at the same time. And with her having her little spunky moment coming up in our lesson program, she is one of our best lesson horses. She is so good with, cantering slowly, trotting slowly. She very, very, very honest over the jumps and things like that. And with doing the lessons and everything like that, one of the things with her is we want to make sure that she's chill because we've been having this weird weather where we get a lot of ice, and so she can't run around outside. And even though she's a super amazing lesson horse, if she's spunky, then you can see her kind of holding back that friskiness. And if you're not careful, that friskiness might come out. So they often will free run her before lessons when the footing is bad outside. And so it's kind of funny because, we're doing our thing, and then she just ends up deciding that, you know what, I need to free run. And she ends up just going on several laps around the arena. So you can see she does pretty good at staying with me most of the time, but I thought, you know what, I should show you that some of the times it doesn't go as well as you might plan or as well as you might hope. And that's me working here on a little bit more draw. So when she does come to me, I do tend to give her little cookies and make sure she understands that choosing me is, the option that I want you to pick, not the gallop around the arena option and do your own free running thing, which is, I guess, probably a little bit challenging for horses. If you have to be careful about how you free run horses, because if you're trying to do Liberty work and then you're also allowing your horse to just run around and get all their friskies out, it can be a little bit confusing for them. So it's important to have different body language, different gestures, different ways of asking them to go out. So that way it's not just them thinking that it's peace out, run around time. Here you can see she does a cute little, I was going to come back, and then she just left and decided I'd go for a little run. And then I just clipped to the part where she ends up coming back, and I bring her back to the task that I was asking her for. I just slow it down so it's not so exciting and she doesn't run off and go do her thing. And as we're doing all of these things, I'm kind of thinking, all right, like, sure, she can do her figure eights. They go pretty good. But if she kind of stalls and has moments where it's not super pretty, do I want to include this in our demo performances that we're going to be doing? It's like, well, I don't know. We got to practice it a little bit more. And whenever we are in a pressure environment where we're going to be doing demos in front of thousands of people and you only have like 5 minutes in the arena, you want to do things that are pretty easy for you and your horse, not the things that are challenging, because it's going to be an exciting, stressful time. And if you're not careful, that can turn into something where it's bound to go wrong or not the way you intended. So I practice and I play and we'll try to smooth this up. And you can see she, for the most part, does it pretty good. Here, the trotting kind of got a little bit sticky. And then here, just asked her to do a little bit of canter. She came in just because it was really adorable, starting to add in a little bit of that fun and that speed, because that's going to make it a little bit more exciting for our demo performances too. But all in all, she's doing super awesome because we really hadn't done a ton of Liberty play. We'd been more doing riding stuff together. And so this has just been great getting to play with all these things again. And she overall is doing really, really well. You can see sometimes she goes a little bit too far out, but it's not always difficult to bring her back to me. Sometimes she does it really, really well. So in terms of her health, like kind of what happened is everything was going fine. Like you can see I'm working her at Liberty. She's walk, trot, canter. She eats her cookies just fine. She was eating her dinner at chores time just fine. Nobody really noticed anything until she came in to do a lesson one day, and the coach that was doing the lesson said, you know what, she just seems more lethargic than usual. I think we should take her temperature. And they took her temperature and it was 105. So 105 is extremely high. Like if it's 106, your horse is pretty much like organs shutting down and it's like really, really bad. And 105 is not great. And so we ended up getting the vet out. We ended up giving her IV fluids. We ended up quarantining her to a stall. We ended up moving the horses that she's turned out with, which are Bunny and Secret, which are my pregnant mares. They got quarantined over as well. Like we moved them to a different paddock, so they were far away from the other horses. And it took a while to get the blood work results back. And you can see she's got quite a few things not going super amazing, but all of the super awful diseases like EHV and strangles and all that came back negative. So what we're doing is feeding her some mushy food. We're trying to get her eating again because her appetite, she would eat some of her grain, but her appetite for hay and things had gone down a lot and she wasn't really drinking. So we had to get her a lot of IV fluids, and she's starting to eat and drink a little bit more. We've been putting molasses in it with the vet coming out to do the IV fluids. She seems like she's starting to be a little bit better, as well as being on Banamine, which helps with the fever and helps with the stomach discomfort. The vet is thinking, based on all of the results that have come back negative and where she's at, that it's probably colitis, which means there's inflammation in there and there could be an 80% mortality rate. So I'm just holding it together, hoping that she does really well, and I'll keep you guys posted how she ends up doing. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.